Hello televiewers and welcome to the last edition of The Brief live on my Media Prime Television. Today is Friday, November 3rd, 2021 and you are on to your favorite bilingual program, The Brief, dedicated to the review of striking headlines in the papers. On today's edition of the program, we are looking at what is happening in the northwest and southwest regions. It is now clear that over 700,000 children are out of school as a result of the Anglophone crisis in the northwest and southwest regions. We shall equally tell you about the visit of Prime Minister to the south region of the country, where he will be inaugurating the Ebolova or the Ebolova Regional Hospital today, sometime today in the day. So we shall be telling you more about that. He arrived at the Ebolova or South Regional Headquarters yesterday, and he will be proceeding this morning to inaugurate the hospital that was built within the framework of the 3 years emergency plan for the development of Cameroon. Thank you for joining. Mbaku, Jude, who is a journalist, will be with us today on this edition of the program. Let's find out what the French newspapers gather for us with Bomotonguina, Gwladys. Bonjour Gwladys, et bon week-end à toi. Hein?
Merci beaucoup, meilleur à toi. Et bonjour à vous qui nous regardez. Merci de nous retrouver pour Débrief, votre émission de revue de presse bilingue sur ma Media Prime Télévision. Alors ce matin, nous allons commencer avec le journal La Nouvelle Expression qui parle en grand titre de Maurice Kamto, chassé de la ville de Douala. Selon le journal, après qu'il ait passé 2 jours de séquestration à son hôtel, le président du MRC a été escorté par des hommes en tenue jusqu'à la sortie de la ville, direction pour Yaoundé. Les détails sont donc en page 7 de ce journal. Nous continuons alors ce matin avec le journal L'Info à chaud qui parle de la campagne électorale à la FECAFOOT pour parler ici de la visite de Samuel Eto'o-Fils dans le nord de Cameroun accompagné de son épouse. Les détails sont donc en page 3 de ce journal. En page 4 et 5, le journal parle de la pose de la première pierre par le Minfropra. C'est pour bientôt alors un bâtiment pour le Common Law à l'ENAM, Nous terminons donc ce matin avec le journal Émergence qui parle de la loi de finances et du conseil fiscal. Le Cameroun veut exclure les experts comptables et les avocats d'une partie du marché. Les détails sont donc en page 5 de ce journal. Mesdames, Messieurs, c'est ici que nous nous arrêtons pour ce débrief ce matin. Place à la découverte de ces urnes en langue anglaise avec toi, Lasha.
Thank you, Bomotonguina, Gwladys. Let's kickstart with the national bilingual daily Cameroon Tribune. Cameroon Tribune is interested in the ceremony that will be taking place this morning in Ebolova South region of the country. We are told that PM inaugurates a center today. That's talking about the inauguration on instruction of the head of state, President Paul Biya. Prime Minister, head of government, Chief Dr. Joseph Diongute, is in the Ebolova or the South Regional Capital, Ebolova, where he will officially inaugurate the regional hospital center constructed within the framework of the 3-year emergency program to accelerate growth in Cameroon. More details on page 3 of this edition of the National Bilingual Daily Cameroon Tribune. On to The Voice newspaper. The Voice is telling us this morning that over 700,000 children are knocked out of school or classrooms in the 2 English-speaking regions of the country. Visiting Norwegian Refugees Council Secretary General was at the Star Building recently, and he is currently in the southwest region of Cameroon to assess the situation of the children who are out of school and other internally displaced persons of the Anglophone crisis in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. We are told that first Cameroonian native African-born bishop in U.S. goes home. The Cameroonian-born arrives at the country recently, and he was received by his countrymen. You can get more details about the bishop, who is first in history to be named bishop in the United States of America from Cameroon. And on to this other headline that has to do with Bamenda bishops that have denounced or who have denounced heinous murder of a Kondo TT students and the teacher. The bishops were speaking yesterday, as we are told by the Voice newspaper. They condemned the killing of the school children and a teacher recently during an attack that was perpetrated by armed men believed to be Ambazonia fighters. On to municipal updates. Municipal update is equally interested in the inaugural ceremony of the Ebolova Regional Hospital. Diongote inaugurates Regional Hospital Center today. He was instructed by the head of state, Paul Biya, to inaugurate the hospital, which was built within the framework of the 3 years emergency plan to develop the Republic of Cameroon. A Kondo TT chief designate consoles school attack victims. The chief was speaking in his chiefdom recently concerning the killing of the school children and a French language teacher. We end with the Guardian Post newspaper. The Guardian Post this morning is bringing to us an investigative report that has to do with members of parliament elected by the population. We are told that after the paper carried out a thorough investigation, the paper is telling us how MPs harvest millions from government officials during sessions in Yaoundé. Lawmakers voted into parliament to defend the interests of the masses have often been accused of spending time pursuing other interests, and this investigation carried out by the Guardian Post newspaper points to a market scenario recurrent amongst some members of parliament, MPs, and top government officials wherein anti-people deals are struck. And we are told that findings reveal a synopsis between some of the government officials elected, or some of the elected officials into the nation's legislative chambers, and those placed in positions of power, rather striking deals to line their pockets. And the paper also is also telling us that the contours of some of these deals is what is impeding bills or laws that will be in the favor of the common man to be passed in parliament. These MPs whose lips are often sealed during plenaries where these ministers come to defend their budgets and the bills passed in parliament. We talk about Kamto now. Maurice Kamto was under 2 days house arrest in Douala. Professor Maurice Kamto was put under house arrest at a hotel in Douala by security and defense forces recently. Kamto came to Douala to launch a book which he never did as a result of the house arrest that he was forcefully placed under. Let's talk about the armed conflict in the northwest and southwest regions. We are told that over 700,000 school children victims of violence. This is a report that was published recently regarding the situation of children in those English-speaking regions of Cameroon. And equally, government prioritizes Ring Road and Babaju-Bamenda stretch of road in 2022 budget. And this revelation was made at Parliament recently by Public Works Minister Emmanuel Nganu Njumisi. Thank you for watching television as we are back in the studio to continue with our discussions this morning. We are receiving journalist Mbaku Jude, who is coming all the way from Boya, chief town of the southwest region of Cameroon. Good morning, Jude, and thank you for joining.
Happy weekend to you, Lasha.
It's been long, eh? It's been long. I caught you today. I say you must be around.
That's right, that's right. It's been long. We've been on the field. We've been on the ground. Like every other day, our ears on the ground. So we're here just executing what we should be doing.
Okay, Jude, let's go straight to the Guardian Post newspaper. And the Guardian Post is telling us this morning that there is an investigative report that was carried out by the same newspaper talking or revealing how MPs who go for sessions in Yaoundé, they spend their time striking deals with government officials rather than fighting for the common man who elected them to go and represent them at the Glass House in Yaoundé.
Yes, Kingsley. First of all, let me laud Marcel Aquin of the Guardian Post for sticking his nose into such stories. Such investigative stories are those which really help us in nation building, and that's what we should be doing every other day, holding most of our officials to account. You know, it is not new, and it's not news that most of the MPs, members of parliament, who are supposed to be representative of the people, sometimes most of them have shady deals with government officials. But Kingsley, most of them, I've struggled to talk to some, and the excuse they usually give is that for you to have development in your community, there's what we call lobbying.
Yes.
Yes, as a parliamentarian, you have to lobby. And
Lobby for bad laws? You exchange bad laws for
well,
development?
when you are in parliament, you seek the good of your people.
Let's say, for example, the anti-terrorism law, which has been, attacked by many people.
Yes.
The members of parliament, they were there, and the law was passed right in front of them, and the law is being used today to even try those who have not even committed or who are not terrorists. That is why truly we also fought them. Yes.
At that instance, that in as much as you have to lobby with government officials for projects in your community, because they want to take an excuse now that this story is misquoting their lobbying spirit. For
some of them lobby for their private pockets, to have contracts for their companies, because most of them, they have private companies.
Private companies. So they use the opportunity of being in parliament to chop a lot from government officials. But like you mentioned, we have basic laws in this country which we had expected that these people, when they sit in parliament, they focus on. I think that story hits it rightly.
But we cannot also blame the MPs from what Cameroonians are saying, that they don't have the majority. The swelling majority are the CPDM. So if the blame has to go to, it should be tilted towards CPDM MPs.
I think that story says MPs.
Because most of them have never opposed. They have never opposed some laws that are regarded as that are regarded as bad bills.
That story does not differentiate whether you are a CPDM MP or an opposition. It says MPs, and when it says MPs, we understand that CPDM MPs are in fact, they are the ones who are on state budget.
Well, you're already in the house. What do you lobby against? Why will you be lobbying again? The people of the opposition are the one lobbying to get into the house and get something.
So it's even unfortunate that we have MPs. Honestly, in this country, in Cameroon, what we call MPs, there's a lot of work to be done. When you look at other parliaments, the way they function, there's a lot of work to be done as far as Cameroon is concerned. We have a house where people go and agree and then just function the way they function, because there are basic constitutional designations which we had expected that MPs...
Do you really think that our constitution gives the MP that power to be able to be...
It gives.
To hold government accountable in parliament?
No, to an extent, it gives. They are the ones who make the laws. So go through that same constitution. If it is not giving you that power, amend it. So who else, if an MP does not have power, or a legislative arm does not have power to make laws, who else should? Go back to the constitution and amend it. That's the point. Because you are talking about an anti-terrorism law that we understand that in Cameroon, it has been functioning depending on the whims and caprices of the people who call the shots. We have a nation where the basic article 40, is it article 64 or 66?
Yes.
Which we sing every day. Declaration of state assets and property before going into. What is difficult for that law? What MPs go and sit there? They are deliberating over climate change.
The president has to come up with a decree creating a commission that will receive people who want to come and declare their asset. Up till now, the president of the republic has not done that, because as per the constitution, he has to create a commission that will oversee people coming to declare their asset and whatever. So
Lasha,
he has not yet created a commission.
That is just an aspect. That's just
it
one
took
of
several
many.
years for
that. But those people should not leave the parliament rest. They should not leave the president rest. The legislature is supposed to guide the power of the president. They should not leave the president rest.
But most of them operate within party lines. The CPDM has a swelling majority, and they only listen to President Pobia, what he tells them to do.
That is where the failure comes.
So why should we blame the MP saying they are negotiating their deals of business?
Who should be blamed? If they have a job to execute and they are not executing, Cameroonians have to be told that these are the people you should blame, because they have the knife and the yam. If they are folding their arms and sitting, it's because they know where they are chopping from. People have their companies that they have created and they are lobbying for contracts. People have their secret negotiations that they do and put money in their pocket. But they deceive people every day in their constituencies that are representing them. So if you were to represent the community...
Why can these people not refuse them or denounce them when they come back?
People are vulnerable.
They come back with cube of sugar and the rest. They give them...
The system in Cameroon, Kingsley, it is we have a very tough economic climate. People don't reason again with their minds, they reason with their tummies. When you are hungry, any law goes as far as it's going to put food in your stomach. So I think that is what our people, I mean Cameroonians, have been subjected to serious poverty, so much that
they become
the class of they become desperate. The bourgeoisie, those ones that are on top with the state budget, they have the latitude to execute it at their will. Okay. So that is where we were taught that those representing us will help us. But they too, you know how it is. They too want to chop.
Ok, dans ce cas, si les membres du Parlement ne travaillent plus ou ne travaillent pas du tout pour le peuple, à quoi servent-ils là-bas?
At this juncture, I think we need an ultimate. We need. It is not simply. I'm saying this because I'm saying for the sake of experience. Okay. I don't think the CPDM regime is ready to change the status quo. They are used to it over the years.
Est-ce qu'il n'y a que les membres du RDPC qui sont dans
But
le Parlement?
you need a majority.
The majority is with CPDM. That's why I'm saying that over the years, they are not willing to change the system.
Okay.
So the CPDM MPs that are the majority, they are supposed to be the ones to rally themselves and say, no, at least we owe Cameroonians this duty. But they are scared.
Est-ce qu'on doit donc continuer à avoir un Parlement qui ne sert à rien à la population?
At the end of the day, this is what I believe in. I think that until the CPDM group is dismantled.
Mbaku, from what you are saying, it means that the CPDM guys are unpatriotic.
To them, it's patriotic.
They don't love the country.
They love their party more than the country.
No.
So the party is bigger than the country?
The party, CPDM people, I'm saying this with experience. I'm saying with what we are seeing. I'm not talking out of emotional, political, I'm not a politician. I'm saying analytically that CPDM people, which most of them are in parliament, they pay more allegiance to the party and the hierarchy of the party than to national laws. And that's why we are at the juncture where we are beginning to look at them like they are not doing the things of the state, but they are doing things of the party.
Étant entendu que c'est la population qui vote, est-ce que le temps ne revient pas à la population camerounaise de voter des gens qui ne travaillent pas pour eux?
How many people
to vote again? Many CPDM, they should have tried other opposition so that they can get to parliament.
The opposition, we are just talking for a few minutes about Kamto.
We'll come to.
Yes, but to say that you don't blame CPDM is in all the subdivisions in Cameroon. It is no matter
est-ce que c'est la faute de qui, du RDPC ou des populations qui les votent pour les représenter là-bas?
No, it's strategic. It is not opposition's fault. It is a strategy put forth by CPDM, which is working and is making Cameroonians believe that it is a democratic process. It is not democratic. If you are in a democratic functionality, you should ensure that any legal political party has the stamina in every constituency.
Mais ce sont toujours les Camerounais eux-mêmes qui votent ces mêmes membres du Parlement. Ce sont eux-mêmes qui les votent.
How many Cameroonians, like, I started earlier by saying that most of those who vote are those who have been in a free setup, where people vote with their consciences, not you bringing bags of salt at the moments of election. People look at what you have done. People look at what parties have done, what this person is capable of doing in their communities and voting.
Donc vous voulez par là dire que les Camerounais votent parce qu'ils ont faim? Parce que quand on leur donne les sacs de riz ou bien les sacs de sel, c'est parce qu'ils ont fain qu'ils votent?
Oui, many. Okay. Many Cameroonians vote out of hunger.
Okay.
I've been where I've equally received in those days.
Yes.
Those days when around 2004 and 2011 when we had those municipal elections. I've been in constituencies where I also had to take my own Maggie in the election campaign.
Donc à la fin, vous avez aussi voté.
But it was out of ignorance. For me, I think that it was out of ignorance. People do not master what it means
So
to vote a candidate.
it means that the opposition political parties are not doing their job by sensitizing the Cameroonians or Cameroonians.
Yes, they are. Even if they are sensitizing,
they have to sensitize with their stomach, right?
Many political parties in Cameroon now are not political parties in actual fact.
Okay.
There can be few, very few that are struggling.
But what do this country?
But there have been.
What does this country need? 300 and plus political party.
That's the point. That's the point. We think that we can give liberty only when it comes to creating political party. We claim now that it is a right. It is a right of association. Every political party should be able, before creating a political party, you should be able to have a sustainability plan, not something that is created like a Jangi group and people are unable to pull out a crowd of 2. You call them political parties.
There are some people, there are 2 family members, they
call them political parties.
Party.
Those kind of, is it that, okay, when you look at America, for instance, we know that there are other political parties, but when you talk about American election, we are looking at Democrats and Republicans. Now, when you take these 2 people, when you take these 2 parties and put together, you see
the ideology, it cuts across all the spectrum.
Where ideology should be able to absorb in any of them. You cannot be a Superman in Cameroon that 5, 10 political parties already exist, and you think that your own idea is so super that it cannot be submerged into the others. Okay. The strategy of governance in some of these systems like Cameroon is to ensure that they create much room parties that will take the small that other parties would have had. So they spread people across, cause conflicts, agony across, and animosity, and then remain on the float with their stamina. That is what the regime is doing.
And Kamto spent 2 days at Valet de Prince Hotel in Douala. He came for a rally in Douala. Unfortunately, or fortunately for him, I don't know how to put it, he was the hotel was surrounded by security and defense forces. Is it really a good signal 1 month to the start of AFCON?
Kamto has become a sensation. Whether for the positive or the good or the bad reason, it's become a scare.
But he came to launch a book.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That to do with? I'm saying that he has become a scare when he sneezes. The paper say when he sneezes,
government panics.
Government panics. I don't understand why. It's the same thing. Frunzi. There was a point that anywhere Frunzi went, they were sending people behind Frunzi as if Cameroon is not Frunzi's land. You see, so that is why I started by saying that the system has caged political parties. It has made Kamto rebellious more than a normal political leader would have been. Because the more you put pressure on political leaders, the more they want to use whatever available means they have to send out their ideologies. If Kamto is coming to Douala to launch his book, and you people know that he's coming to launch his book, what is your problem? If he has his fanfare, his supporters coming to welcome him, it is not your problem. We should have a problem if he has refused, or his party hierarchy or the security wing of his party has refused to sign an undertaking that they'll protect lives, they'll protect properties, so that there should not be any rioting. There are steps that you should take to ensure, because what is happening now is a political clampdown. That's the way I look at it.
But the security information might have had it that Kamto had a hidden agenda.
If he has this hidden, that's why I'm saying that there should be, that security intelligence should be able to do things ahead of time. So much that he has a smooth book launch. Cameroonians should be seeing a Kamto launching his book, not the world seeing a clampdown on a political leader. You understand what I mean? Because the idea now that is going through is that Kamto has been arrested like usual. Each time Kamto comes out, they are panicking to arrest him. It should not be the image going out. So that intelligence should be done ahead of time so that when he comes out, everything goes smoothly. Sign the undertakings. that you protect
This
lives.
is not the first time. Even at his residence in Yaoundé, it was same case.
He was given a house arrest. So come to my house. Every political leader has an agenda. They are public figures. When they go out, people usually want to follow them. But clamping on them as if they don't have the right to do things in the country, I
So
think
it means that we are in a one-party system. Eh? You
Cameroon
can say that we are in a one-party system.
No, the country looks like a multi-party system. But even those who
You
are
say
in
it
parliament,
looks like.
yes, it looks like. But even those who you say they're in parliament, most of them are
Indirectly attached to the
they are
CPDM.
indirectly attached to the CPDM. Issa Churema Bakari,
He's a member of government. He has a
National
political
Salvation
party.
Front, is his party.
He has
He was a
MPs.
member of parliament. He spoke on behalf of the CPDM all through, but he has a party. So who are you fooling? You see, when you look at Cameroonians in the eyes like that, and you create a party, but you are a spokesman. In fact, you are a communication minister for the other party that is in power. That's how many of those guys who call themselves MPs and others in those mushroom political parties are. They are seeking their hunger. They are hungry people, most of them.
Thank you, Jude. Thank
And
you
that's why
for
you cannot
coming.
make a single decision and stand by it for Cameroonians.
Thank you very much, Jude Mbaku, for coming. You're a journalist based in Buea. It was a pleasure having you on today's edition of the program. And thank you to televiewers for taking our time to watch the last edition of the program, which was produced by Christain Tebong. We were Bomotonguina, Gwladys, and myself, Lasha Kingsley. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.